You're just going to have to bear with me a little bit because this is the first time I've ever done a podcast, with an exception of the ones I used to record on a tape deck when I was 10 years old, where basically I would play songs, mostly Alanis Morissette. I would talk a lot and interview made up guests who came because they were there under the pretense of winning money, but then I'd murder them, with an exception of Grant Barner, who actually just ran outside and fell off a cliff. But two things I didn't realize at the time: one, I was essentially recording a podcast, and two, it's a great metaphor for capitalism if you don't understand capitalism. Anyway, this is the podcast. It's like they always say in entrepreneurship: launch messy and perfect later. Coming up on our pilot episode, which no one is going to listen to, but I need the brain dump. This is for me, not you. 5 major headlines. That's easy. What everyone's talking about from the past week, or maybe not. I mean, it's what I'm going to look up. It'll be some politics, some wars, some cute animals, whatever I find, spilling on what is inexplicably the pop of pop culture. Yeah, I heard it. I just didn't eat breakfast, so I can't vomit. Also, horoscopes, because that's how middle-aged mums on Pinterest like to manifest reality. It actually does work a little bit. Hi, I'm Dave. My mic technique is giving me a hunchback, and this is Spilling Trends. You know what just really makes me sick to my stomach about living in New Zealand is that I'm looking up trending topics, right? And it always defaults to New Zealand. It's like, I don't care what's happening in New Zealand, okay? Nothing is happening here. You want to know what's happening in New Zealand? Rain, traffic, arguing. Like, this is literally one of those places where people just don't really know they're alive. I mean, I do, but that's because I do a lot of drugs. Specifically, dexamphetamine prescribed by my highly competent doctor. And that is the only way the drug is available, not through someone who's selling it at the pub for $5 a pill. So, what's making the headlines this week? Well, it seems to all be about the Iran war. Trump pays attention to the stock market. Wall Street eyes signs of taco amid Iran war. And there's another story here. Live updates on Iran. Warns against US ground invasion as regional leaders ramp up diplomatic efforts. That source from CNN. Oh my god. What else? Well, if we're going to talk about war, I should really be looking into Ukraine and Palestine as well. Russia took satellite images of US airbase in days before Iranian attack, Ukraine, Zelensky says. Okay, well, that's Zelensky. Well, he's probably got some sources. I don't know. He is a world leader. And Palestine, pro-Palestine demonstrations draw crowds across Europe. Oh, well, when do they not? Lots of people care about Palestine, and why wouldn't you? Lots of people dying. I'm very flippant about these things, these things, so that's something that I'll just say off the bat. It's probably the most jaded person you know, so just be mindful of that. Let's see. Man held on suspicion of attempted murder after car hits pedestrians in Derby. So this is from the UK. This was a big trending story from today or the last few days. And it sounded like they're not ruling that it's a terrorist attack at the moment, but let's be honest about it, where there is a bit of a pattern here. You know, when a car mows down multiple people at once, it's generally a terror plot. If it's anything like the one from 2017 in Westminster. I was actually there that day, so this was my narcissistic assessment of it at the time. I was with a friend, and we were supposed to go to Krispy Kreme's in Westminster, but we settled for Whitechapel, and I think we just got coffee. And then I had a friend who I had just made recently off Tinder, and he was like, "Did you go to Westminster today?" I was like, no. And he was like, "Oh, stay away. Like, someone in a van mowed down a whole bunch of people." And I was like, "Oh, that's interesting. We were going to be there, but we weren't." And then when I was living in Melbourne, there was a car bomb that went off like near my work within 45 minutes of me leaving because I went home sick. So I have this way of, there have been other examples of this as well. I think I narrowly avoided a shooting in Paris as well. Paris is relevant because that doesn't happen where I live. And I just have this way of narrowly avoiding terrorist attacks wherever I go. And I also happened to be on the other side of town whenever there was a tornado in the Auckland region. Wow. Has that ever happened to you? Do you have a way of narrowly avoiding terrorist attacks? I mean, to be fair, like that car bomb, I mean, even if it went off outside my work, I was inside, like I would have been fine anyway. So it's really not that big a deal. But on the other hand, I'm indestructible. How relatable. But yeah, so this Derbyshire attack doesn't really sound like, I mean, it's pretty localized. We'll see if it's part of a wider plot. Maybe they can make it about the Epstein files or about Trump or something about that. I don't know. You know all that tinfoil hat stuff. What is it? What is it? MK Ultra. The driver was MK Ultra. I don't know. I don't know. I'm not serious enough to be a news head. I'm just a commentator. No, I'm just going to touch on Palestine. Just judging from the story, I mean, the pro-Palestine demonstrations happening in Europe, it doesn't sound like anything new. It's more just an update. Yeah, people still care about Palestine, and that's good. There is a much wider conversation to be had here, but I think the best journalism I've heard on the subject is that it's such a layered story that there's really just no one way to look at it. But I guess it's pretty safe to say Israel is fine, but the Israeli government is not. Palestinian people do not necessarily support Hamas. I have not looked into Hamas recently. It sounds like last I checked, Gaza was pretty much decimated and it's disgusting and they're going to build Trump hotels. So yeah, it all comes back to Trump again. I know that's just a pretty surface level assessment of the situation, but I don't know. If you want to hear more about it, you can always refer to Candace Owens, but we all know how sane she is. Anyway, the next thing, Trump always chickens out. That's what TACO stands for. Wall Street is spotting the return of the TACO playbook in this story from Inez Ferrer, senior business reporter at Yahoo Finance. I think I'm reading Yahoo Finance. Okay. Yeah, the email thing didn't really quite work out, but they write about finance, so that's amazing. I'm into finance personally. Check out Wealth Foresight on TikTok, also wealthforesight.blog. The domain is parked at the moment because I'm having some cash flow issues. How ironic is that? Wealthforesight.wordpress.com. Wealthforesight.store is actually the one. That's just where you get the lowdown on what we're putting out. Clever resources for building an income from home. I personally have 8 income streams. I'm not going to tell you what they are or how much I'm making from them, but they exist. And none of them are selling drugs. But Wealth Foresight is something of a passion project for me. I used to work in finance and I'm really into financial literacy. I didn't learn what I was meant to from working in finance. Education is ubiquitous and now university is redundant. The education system doesn't really teach you anything practical about financial literacy, which is why I am imparting my own wisdom on managing debt and 4 ingredient meals to solve the housing crisis. Just I have a very inflated sense of self-importance about this, but in my defense, my resources are helpful. I've had some ratings. I was going to say reviews, but no one's actually said anything. But yeah, I mean, the other day, like I emailed someone who downloaded one of my freebies and then he went and bought the full thing. So I thought he just appreciated the personal touch. So if you are selling anything yourself, which is also something that I touch on with Wealth Foresight, do email, do reply to your freebie downloaders because they do have money for stuff. Wealthforesight.store. It's relevant to bring up Wealth Foresight because one of the big focuses is stock market investments. And at the moment, there are very astute traders. One of my parasocial mentors online talking about how, oh, the stocks are about to go on sale. Make sure you get in on it. So, according to this story, Nancy Tingler, CEO of Laffer Tingler Investment, Laffer Tingler, what a stupid name. She said her team sensed the administration was getting a little wary of the conflict and its impacts on the markets heading into last week. Oh, you reckon? You reckon? Yeah, because that doesn't happen during a war. Never. No, prices, fuel's cheap. I went to the gas station the other day. It's only $3.34 a litre and counting. But it's not counting much. I'm fine. Last April, stocks and bonds plunged after Trump unveiled sweeping tariffs, then rebounded when he paused the plan instead to negotiate with countries individually. Yeah, no, I remember that part. But then where's the part about gold dropping? Because gold's been dropping recently as well. Everything's just dropping. Like gold even. Gold is supposed to be that one thing that you can hedge, that thing you can rely on to protect you against inflation and everything. I mean, even gold's not safe. Nothing's safe. Nothing is safe in Trump's Earth. But the other headline, Russia took satellite images of the US airbase specifically. We know they make images once, they are preparing. If they make images a second time, it's like a simulation. The third time mean in 1 or 2 days they will attack. Wait, was that Zelensky? That was meant to be Zelensky. Here we go. So during the interview that Zelensky had with this reporter, Zelensky shared a summary of the daily presidential briefing he receives from Ukraine's spy agencies. This is in reference to the Russian presidency. Report stated that Russian satellites had taken images of the Prince Sultan Air Base in Saudi Arabia on March 20, 23rd, and 25th. And like clockwork, on March 26, Iran attacked the base, which hosts US forces as well as Saudi troops. This strike wounded a number of American service members, two US officials said on Friday. None of the injuries were considered life threatening. Okay, so this is just like Derby again. Okay, none of them are life threatening. This is boring, guys. Seriously. Okay, where are people dying? Is death just boring now? Like what? Wow. I'm trying to be a hard hitting commentator here, and I'm not getting anything that hits. Goodness sakes, do better, Planet Earth. No, I'm actually not sure if I got five headlines or four, so I'm sorry for lying. Just consider everything that's not in this segment to be the other headline, okay? Okay, I wasn't lying. I don't know how to count higher than five. Tiger Woods' latest brush with the law leaves questions as to why golf is so beholden to him. And in my case, I'm wondering why golf is even relevant, but that's just my arbitrary take on it. I do not care for golf, okay? But this article argues that Tiger Woods remains the center of golf's attention despite a long pattern of questionable behavior and declining relevance. It revisits his 2010 public apology, recent appearances in a gimmicky indoor league, and a fresh DUI related arrest after a car crash, suggesting little has changed in his conduct. I actually saw a side by side of his mugshot from 2026 versus like 12 years ago or something, and he actually looks like he's aged in reverse. But this article says something different on paper, you know, in reality. Despite barely competing since 2024 and clearly fading athletically, Woods is still being positioned for major roles like Ryder Cup captaincy, which I don't know what that is, and influencing the PGA Tour. I don't know what that is either. The author criticizes this as blind loyalty driven by golf's fear of losing relevance without him. You know, that's interesting. It's actually a funny parallel. Just thinking of golf, I think of Donald Trump and how I hate golf because I hate everything to do with Donald Trump. Um, this author, Ewan Murray for The Guardian, why is golf beholden to an aging figure? It's a bit like the Republican Party being beholden to an aging figure as well. I think that this generation, I mean, we seem to be in the era of holding on to our aging figures. Not that old people should die or anything, but they probably shouldn't be in politics or have entire industries, or in this case, golf, revolving around them. But at the same time, I don't think Tiger Woods is that old, and I don't think he has dementia, but that was just an interesting parallel I just noticed as reading this. But then the summary that I have here, the takeaway is less about Woods himself and more about golf's dependency on a single aging figure. Why is the support so culturally thin that it still revolves around one man well past his prime and one with repeated legal and personal issues? The piece implies golf's institutions enable this by ignoring standards that apply to others, exposing a deeper problem, a sport clinging to nostalgia instead of evolving or producing compelling new figures. Okay, this is actually really interesting because, firstly, this is a trend, clinging to nostalgia. I mean, we are the reboot generation, and apparently, golf is mirroring a wider collective consciousness on this whole thing of nostalgia, how fucking obsessed we are with nostalgia. It's so dumb, and I'm guilty of it as well. I mean, before I started recording this, I was playing Sim Tower on emulated Windows XP. Golf, I mean, at the surface, I could just say, well, golf is fucking boring, but actually, no, it's a reflection of wider society, definitely. Just like what I was just saying about clinging to aging figures. This is actually gold, even though it's about golf, and Trump is an idiot. Anyway, that was your weekly news with Spilling Trends. I don't know if that segment's going to come back. It probably will, maybe next week, but I'm probably going to pump out a few more of these and just see how I go. Anyway, that was your March 30th, last 7 days, major headlines from around the world, mostly war, mostly crap. I didn't talk about any cute animals. Maybe I'll try that with the next segment, which is the nauseating pop in pop culture. I can't burp, I have to cough until the gas bubble bursts, but that's irrelevant because what you want to hear about is celebrities, fun things, entertaining things, cute animals. This would probably be an appropriate segment for cute animals, but I usually just mix them in with the major headlines just to like break up all the war stuff. If your digestive system is immune to crap like this, you might want to follow Spilling Trends on TikTok or Instagram. At Spilling Trends. If you don't know how to spell that, I can't help you, but yeah, we're on Instagram and TikTok. Not YouTube. Fuck YouTube. I have to admit, the entertainment news stuff is actually a lot more fun to talk about just because it's so stupid and I can be stupid about it. But I wanted to get the cute animal part out of the way, so I thought I'd just look up. I literally just Googled kitten news. And I saw the first post 8 hours ago. Can anyone help me with this kitten? It's looks like the subreddit for Phoenix, Arizona. So I just went into that, and sure enough, it's been removed by the moderator. Wow. That's Justin. Reddit is still disappearing up its own asshole. Jesus Christ. Just let them post about the fucking kitten. I'm going to check the user page and see if she's cross posted it somewhere else. One moment, please. Shit. Shit. Here we go. Sorry if I'm late, but I realized an Easter egg. No, what's she talking about? Oh, no. Okay. Sorry. No news for that kitten. Well, I hope it's okay. It's just really interesting to me how Reddit is supposedly like the heart of the internet, even though the internet really does have like a few cornerstone hearts, doesn't it? But my point being, it has this huge search engine optimized authority. It's going to come up in search results if you Google even news. But the first result that I just got on the subject of kitten news was a post that was made 8 hours ago and removed by a fucking moderator. Like, sorry, in the words of ChatGPT, that's not growth, that's avoidance. Okay, here's one from the Dodo. Yesterday at 4 a.m. New Zealand time, they thought there was just one kitten trapped under there. When rescuers heard a kitten stuck beneath a fuel tank, they knew they'd have to drain it just to reach him. But as they worked, more tiny faces started appearing until they realized there were 5 cats in total, including their mum. One by one, they carefully brought each kitten to safety. Oh, that's good. I wish we could say the same thing for those kids in Gaza. Now, for more trending entertainment news, I'm turning to the arguably what is the asshole of the internet, X, formerly Twitter, the best, most highly rated news app on the Apple Store or something. I don't know. Whatever authority they claim to have, they don't have any over me, so that's fine. Harry Potter HBO trailer breaks records amid fan backlash. Last updated 46 minutes ago at the time of recording. Wow, this is relevant. HBO's teaser for the Harry Potter series adapting Harry Potter and the Philosopher's Stone with one season per book drew 277 million views in 48 hours, the most in HBO and Max history. It stars Dominic McLaughlin as Harry, Arabella Stanton as Hermione, Alastair Stout as Ron, plus John Lithgow as Dumbledore, Nick Frost as Hagrid, and Papa Esidu as Snape. With the exception of Papa Esidu, all the names of those actors all sound like they were written by J.K. Rowling. Like they all sound like they sound more niche than like Hermione, like Arabella. Like, was that intentional? Did they do that deliberately? Let's see. So let's see what the replies are saying. It's lacking the warm colors of autumn of the original. I don't know. I don't know. It's looking all right. If you look it up, it's looking like they actually made Harry's hair untidy, although that actor, not to criticize a child on based on looks, but just on appearance in the film, sorry, TV show, looking a little bit uncanny valley to me. And as much as I don't really like watching anything that revolves around child characters, just for a number of reasons, mostly just the history of the film and television industry and how it treats children, really don't like that shit. I've always thought that Harry Potter should be a series. I feel like I manifested this because, again, my narcissistic assessment of things, the world revolves around me, the universe revolves around me, etc., etc. It revolves around you too, by the way. It's just FYI. It's not just me. You can do it too. You've got a brain. Use it. I manifested Decoding Fox News, my favorite podcast. If I listen to one podcast this week, it'll be Decoding Fox News. Same thing with the Harry Potter TV series. Someone else had the idea. There's no such thing as an original thought. In a world of 8 billion, your chances of having a 1 million% original thought is 1 in 8 billion. Like, that's not going to happen. So I'm really grateful that enough people, enough of the right people in the right places had the same idea as I did, even if it was years ago. Sometimes these things stay in the vault for a long time before they finally reach fruition. Plus, there's production and pitching and all that shit about funding and whatever. Some people got together, finally made a series out of Harry Potter. I'm very grateful for that. I will be watching it. However, I have to. I don't have HBO in New Zealand because I'm in New Zealand and I'm someone who isn't subscribed to it. I think we can actually access HBO here, but I probably won't. I will probably watch it through other legal means. Yes, that is my story and I'm sticking to it. Now I have to throw in a content warning. I don't like having to do this, but simply put, some people just don't have the capacity to hear about this sort of thing. So when I frame it like that, that's completely reasonable. The next story talks about suicide. specifically assisted suicide. There was a story out of Spain. Stop listening or skip forward a few minutes if you need to. So the story follows Noelia Castillo, a 25-year-old Spanish woman who was granted euthanasia after becoming paraplegic following a suicide attempt, but whose death was delayed by an 18-month legal battle led by her father and religious activists. Despite approval from multiple doctors under Spain's 2021 euthanasia law, her case escalated to the European Court of Human Rights before her request was finally upheld and carried out. The conflict exposed two competing narratives. One side argued that the state failed her by not providing enough care and support, while the other argued her autonomy was undermined by legal interference that prolonged her suffering. Her history of trauma, disability, and isolation made the case emotionally charged and politically divisive. Naturally, I mean, it always is. And this, I've just reading this summary now, I'm like, yeah, this is always the thing that comes up about euthanasia. The broader takeaway is that once euthanasia becomes legal, the real debate shifts to where the boundaries are. What qualifies as enough suffering? Who gets to challenge a person's choice? And how much power should families, courts, or institutions have to override it? It also highlights how quickly something once controversial becomes normalized. Countries like Spain and places like New Zealand, where I am, now treat assisted dying as a regulated option. So for individuals, that creates a strange kind of reassurance. Well, this really, I speak for myself, but the idea that when life becomes unbearable, especially when I'm old and frail and disabled, there's a defined legal exit which removes a lot of uncertainty. It's the certainty of it, and I could write a book about dealing with uncertainty. Fuck, I might actually. I've written a few already. This, yeah, I mean, it's a sad story. Naturally, to put it lightly, it's sad, but it's also incredibly nuanced, and that's why what makes me sick about it is when I see people like DC Drano, Rogan O'Handley, lawyer, America first. Oh, so you know where he stands. Europe just executed the rape victim instead of the rapists. The dark ages have returned. Like, what a crock of shit. Actually, piss off. You and your fucking smoldering profile picture. You look like you like to pound ass more than I do. Piss off. Actually piss off. That is so stupid. Like, completely devoid of nuance. And this is why X is the asshole of the internet, because people like this have 2.3 million followers and they just pollute the whole platform with their crap, their stupid, just retarded angles on things. And I hate it. It's just like, oh yeah, free speech. I love free speech, but that X is just disappearing up its own asshole in this one. Like, oh yeah, Elon bought it to bring back free speech. And then you have what is this? Because these people have influence, right? Like, there are people who are going to see this and just be enraged. And so they'll go into, looking into a nuanced issue like this with all this rage and their judgment clouded by emotion without actually appreciating the facts. So this is where free speech is obviously good. Love free speech, but this is one of the problems with these people and how they fucking just fuck it up. They didn't execute her, she was euthanized. Jesus. Up next, horoscopes. Read about your future so that you can manifest it using confirmation bias and the reticulated activation system of your brain. That's right, I'm talking to you, Pinterest mums. Here are your horoscopes. Wow, this podcast is becoming increasingly erratic. Not that that was intentional. Spilling Trends horoscopes. First, we're going to start off with Aries. You'll probably do something this week, or not. Either way, it'll feel urgent to you. Taurus. You're still thinking about that thing from 3 weeks ago. You will continue doing that. Gemini. You're about to explain something confidently that you only half understand. It will go surprisingly well. Like a landlord about to explain to your tenant how you're going to sell their house from under them so that you can go live on land where you're going to end up with nothing and no one, Paul, not even a shipping container. Cancer. Oh my god, I'm so sorry. Leo, you will enter a room and immediately decide it needs more of you. You're not wrong, but it's still a lot, mum. Not to be judgmental or anything, but Leo sounds like more of a tumor than Cancer does. Virgos. Fuck Virgos. Libra. You're going to avoid making a decision until the decision makes itself. You'll call it balance. Is that why Libra is a tampon company? Because, I mean, that's a decision that makes itself every month, isn't it? I mean, you don't really control it. Anyway, I'm a man. Scorpio, you know something you're not saying. This is your entire personality now. Yeah, Scorpio, piss off. Okay, that's flaky. Sagittarius, you radiant, unstoppable force of brilliance. This week bends itself around your energy in ways others can't even comprehend. Opportunities don't just come to you, they align for you. People are drawn to your insight, your charm, your effortless sense of direction. Trust your instincts because they're operating on a level most people will never reach. Honestly, whatever you do this week, it's going to work. It always does for you. Oh my god, that's so nice. Sorry, I'm a Sagittarius, so that really resonated with me. Capricorn, fuck off. Aquarius, no, fuck Aquarius as well. No, they're terrible. Let's see, Pisces, you're picking up on a vibe that may or may not exist. You're going to act on it anyway. See, that's where we're different, Pisces. I don't act on those vibes. I act on facts. Okay, so maybe you should take a little bit from me. Oh shit, my moon's in Pisces. I should actually be... So I was talking to myself on that one. That's spilling trends this week in horoscopes. If you want to hear more horoscopes, tune in next week for more horoscopes. Right, well, I thought that this would actually end up being a bit longer, but I suppose a half-hour format isn't too bad. In future, they may be longer, they may be shorter, who knows? But that's the first episode of Spilling Trends. If you happen to catch this based on whatever your search intent may have been, mine is normally the Belle Gibson scandal or the elevator game. Yours may have been something to do with, I don't know, early 30s recovering drug habitual user. I was going to say addict, but I'm not addicted. I'm just addicted to entertainment and news and terrible narratives on Twitter and horoscopes where I'm biased because I write them myself. Feel free to follow. That's at Spilling Trends on Instagram and TikTok. You can also check out my sister project, which is Wealth Foresight on X. That's where it's Money Chicken, or head to wealthforesight.blog or wealthforesight.store, or just ignore all that. Check the links in the description or don't. Follow the podcast, or I'll see you the next time I come up in search results. And by see you, I mean you'll hear me, I won't see you, but I appreciate you very much. Stay safe, stay discerning, don't be an idiot, and I will talk to you soon. That's Dave with Spilling Trends.